I am I'm happy for this section because it's gonna be a mind-blowing section. One of my first joy is that I was supposed to start by 9:05, but I was looking at the timing. But I thank God that this section, Leader Morrison has helped me to reduce my timing. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for that. So um, I also have some people in the house. I just saw one of my big boss in the house, Mr. Columbus. You're highly welcome. And my wonderful partner who has been there with me, Mr. Oche Daniel is in the house. Okay. Without wasting too much time, I don't know. I have a slide, but the person working on the slide, I want to say something, please. That I have limited time. So, okay, Leader Bimbal, I want to know, like, how many minutes am I using now? Because my time is so much spent. So I get to time myself to know how I can balance everything.
All right, we have, let's do 30 minutes. When
Okay,
it's
30
about
minutes.
5 minutes to the end of that, I will let you know.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Okay. Now, our subject for today, we're talking about money making intelligence. Let me bring this closer. Okay, if you're listening to me, I want to feel my the people around. Can I feel them? If you're just tap, let me see your emoji. Okay, okay, two people, three, okay, that's good for me. Now, the topic given to me on this is money making intelligence. And I'll be speaking on this subject, and then I'll not be speaking for. Let me start by saying that money does not speak English language. Money does not speak grammar. Yeah, there are things that money flows with the tide. And before I jump into this subject, um, Apostle of Wealth has really, I don't know, but maybe after now I'm going to talk with him personally. This guy read my, it's like he read my slide. So I'm not going to use that slide. I'll be faster than that slide. He read my slide already because he really touched different areas in that slide. And I'm not happy about that. I'll deal with that later. So, yeah. So let me start by saying when you talk about money making intelligence, what comes to your mind first? We have money making, and then you now talk about intelligence. I'm going to take you through a route that at the end of this class, if you're looking for extra means of earning, you're going to have some. And if you're looking at new things to delve into, looking at our current age and era, you will have something to look to. So I'm going to talk about this based on the practical. I wish I knew what I knew 10 years back. I wouldn't have been where I am. The reason I'm making this statement is because the inputs you put into life determines the outputs you get. Anywhere that you find yourself currently is as that is the result of the inputs you have been putting into life. If you look at your financial life and it is not stable, that is the inputs that you have been putting into life for all this while. And what you are seeing currently is your result. One thing I love about life, your current state in life is the result of what you have been doing in time past. So we all have our results in our hand. And if you don't like the results, you need to start imputing something new. Some of us, what we are doing currently and the output which we have currently is not correlating. So, how do you bring a change in your finance? You must first of all begin to impute something different. And I will tell you on this subject how I started imputing something different in my life, and I start looking at something different in my finance. Now, success, Mr. Morrison defined that already. Success is broad. If you're looking at success, you first of all succeed internally before you succeed externally. Many of us have failed internally, and that is the result which we have seen, like I said. So you first of all succeed internally. Like if you look at success is can be in different areas. And in those areas that you look at success, it's you can be successful in the area of your health. Some people will eat too much, so we fail in those areas. That is not my assignment for this night. Some people fail in when he was talking about Jeff Bezos, he made mention of Jeff Bezos. He talked about most of the people who we celebrate that their finances are good today. If we look, if we go to their family, they have bad relationship life. Like they failed, they were not successful in their relationship life. That is one thing I am really happy for this summit, breaking the metrics. Now, you can be successful in one area and also fail in the other area. The good news is what God wants for everyone here is to be successful. I wish above all is that thou mayest prosper, even as your soul prospereth. That is in all things. God wants us to be successful in relationship. He wants us to be successful in finance. He wants us to be successful in health, in every area. But I will draw my line today to the area of finance because that's what I'm here to talk about. And that is where the money making intelligence in today's world comes in. Now, let me start with my the first thing in my slide. I will start by saying, okay, the opening in my slide is start by saying there was a time when money making was largely connected to three things. Yeah, money making was largely connected to three things. There were that time that money making was largely connected to three things. What are these three things? One, where you live. For you to make money is connected to these three things. One is where you live. Number two, where you work. Number three, who you know. I take it again. Money making was connected largely to where you live, where you work, and who you know. There was that era and there was that time. Now, if you want a job, you look for a company in your city. That is the I'm talking about in time past. Back then, you looking for a job, you look for a good company in your city. Yeah, Leader Morrison made mention of that. He said something that um, the reason why people go to school back then is because parents, there was a statement he made there. They were looking at um, the kind of for good job and some of other stuff he made mention towards this area. That was why I say this script. Now, looking at where you live, if you want, okay, and I said, if you want customers, you open a shop. This was in time past. If you want customers, you open a shop. Number one, I said, if you want a job, you look for a company in your city. If you want customers, you open a shop where people could physically find you. If you want to become known, you need access to newspaper, television, radio, publishers, or other established institutes. This is one of the factors. Today, some can sit in Lagos and make connections with people in London. You can sit any parts of the world here today, currently, and you can make connections with people in far countries and in is as a result of the time that we are. Now, there is an evolving in finance that is currently happening that a lot of people are blinded about. I bet you that the era of those times where you go to school just because you want to get a good job, if you look at those times, it's already waving up. There is a fact now that is currently happening. Do you know that in time past, most of our parents, how they make money back in those days, it takes them longer period to make 1 million naira. Like it takes them longer period. Do you know there was a set of people we call big men in the society? Right now, I rebuke every youth that always says, "Ah, this man a big man." I don't want to say that mindset because you have already sold something to yourself. What you sold to yourself is that unconsciously you told yourself that you are poor. That is why you're pointing to another person that that person is a big man. Because money making also is a mindset. I will touch that area by the end of this. So one of the things that you see currently is that in time past it is very difficult to make a million, but currently you see a teenager making a million. Now, money is not as a result of the level of academic you have. Some people they put we see currently that most poor people that you see today, they are mostly, if you look at the professors, if we're looking at the world most richest people, we're supposed to be looking at professors in your school. Looking at Nigeria, we're supposed to be looking at professors in different fields. But no, you find people who don't go to school now employing those people who have brain. There are three levels where Robert Kiyosaki mentioned of wealth. He talked about the A class, the B class, and he also mentioned the C class. Now, the A class, these are people that are the best in the society. A class are often the best in academics. You have them in your class. Yeah, maybe during the exam they always appear as number one. They always outshine every other person. These are the A class. Then we also have the B class. The B class after the A class is the B class, of course, and these are people who performed averagely. Now you have the C class. The C class are they are the people who they didn't do well at all. Most of them, some of them are dropouts. They didn't finish their school as a result of one or two things. They are not intelligent, kind of in the academic system. So the A class finish everything and they come out with their first class results and they believe that if in anything I'm going to apply, I'm going to be the best in that thing which I want to apply. Now, you also have the B class, which follows the A class. But you know, there is this class I so much love, this the C class. What the C class does is that they believe that if I apply for that job, I'm not going to get it. So simply, the C class now said, I beg, let me go and start my own business. And the C class starts his own business and now employs the A class. That is where finance is heading to. You have a lot of people online who I watched somebody online who made 12 million in one day. Somebody made 12 million naira in one night under 2 hours. This guy did not go to school. How was he able to make such amount of money? So this is where finance is channeling to. Let me go back and to my slide and just read through because of my time. I was supposed to be having 40 minutes, but now it's shortened to 30 minutes. So, okay. Now let me give this pointer. So I'll just read my points and then share with us within the short time. But if you are listening to me, there is when you're looking at tomorrow billionaires, you are privileged to be meeting them today. When you see somebody like Leader Morrison, you are privileged to have somebody. I think if we have been together for almost 20 years, yeah, almost 20 years, or if not more than almost 20 years, we have been together. And then one thing we always know is that it's good to build together. And when you look at tomorrow billionaires, I believe all of them they are in this summit. Tomorrow, if you let me see, tomorrow billionaires, leave an emoji. Let me see on your screen. If you believe that you talk about, if you count the billionaires for tomorrow, and you are listening to me now, let me see you on the screen. Let me see. Put an emoji. One person, two person, three. Do we have how many billionaires do we have currently now on the screen? Now there is a subject that I would love to touch. Yeah, there's a subject that I would love to talk about and touch on. This subject is very important because if I cannot, if I can successfully explain this subject, I think I've delivered everything that I need for tonight. Yeah, if I can successfully explain everything about this subject within the time limit that I'm working on. And I'm looking at in the next 10 minutes, I want to be done. So I might be talking fast. It's your duty to pay attention. If you can write something, you can pen down something and then we can go from there. To understand money making intelligence in today's world, we must first understand how internet itself evolved. I repeat, to understand money making, we must understand how internet itself evolved. Now, I'm going to be mentioning um, three of these pointer on how the internet itself evolved. The evolution of internet and money. That is the subject I'm going to be talking on. The evolution of the internet and money. Now, think about the internet as a city that has gone through major stages. Now, what I want to explain is you're going to find out where finance is currently. Think about the internet as a city that has gone through three stages. The stage one is Web 1. The internet has gone through stages. You're going to find yourself from this stage that I will explain. Stage one is Web 1. If you understand this subject, you understand where we are and what you are supposed to be doing now. Now, Web 1, the internet, Web 1 in this section means read. The first stage of internet, which we have seen, is Web 1, and that Web 1 means read. What does this mean? Let me explain this in a simplified term. I try to see how I can break this for everyone listening to me to be able to understand. Web 1 means what? Read. Imagine walking in a library. There are thousands of books around you. You pick one up, you pick up a book, you can read it, you can learn from it, but you cannot easily write inside the book. Talk to the author, create your own shelf, or invite thousands of people to read your own book. You can write, you cannot write in the book. You can only read the book. You cannot write in the book. You cannot talk with the author. And you cannot invite friends to join you in that particular book. Just imagine that in a library. That is an example of Web 1. Web 1 is read. Read only. You can only read. You don't have access to publish anything. You don't have access to the author or anything. So that is Web 1. Now, Web 2. I will rush this very fast. Okay, if you are with my slide, I think you can slide to that part so that if they can see it from there, we'll be able to look at it together. I flow more with explanation. Thank you. So back in those days, when the internet came up, we look at things like the website, where you can just go there, you read newspapers, you just go there, you look at the information, you cannot interact, you cannot comment on those information. That was the phase one of the internet. Now, as the internet evolved more, it's now introduced Web 2 to us. I'm trying to cut this very short so we get to understand this better. Now, as the internet evolved, it's now introduced Web 2 to us. And in Web 2, what we have seen in Web 2 is totally different from what we have currently. Web 2 is read and write. Web 2 is read and write. That is what Web 2 is. And in Web 2, what we have in Web 2 is that you have the opportunity to also interact with the, not just to read, but also you can also interact. So you don't just only look at, you don't just only read alone, but you have the opportunity to read and write. That is where the internet currently is. Because what we do mostly is that you now can comment you now can do one or two things while you interact in this, while you interact on the internet. That is where Web 2 give us room to participate. Web 2 has given us that room to participate in whatsoever we are doing. Now, this brings us up because the people that controls Web 2, we have few people controlling Web 2. In Web 2, the people who controls it, we have the likes of Larry Page. You see Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk. These are people that controls the Web 2. In Web 2, you have the opportunity, you interact with this thing, but you don't own it. That is where Web 3 comes in. So Web 2 allow you to interact, and that is why you can earn in Web 2. So that is why you have social media platforms, and in all the social media platforms, what you do in the social media platform is that you don't just you now you can post your videos. Back in when we were in Web 1, you can only read when internet came out new. You can only read what is posted on the what the blog on. You can only read it. You can only get the information, but you cannot interact with it. Web 2 gives us the opportunity to interact with it. And what was the change in Web 2? Web 2 has helped in raising a lot of millionaires because we have a lot of content creators currently who are making millions of money from these sites. A lot of them. So people started touching good money as time goes on. Thank you. So a lot of people started touching good money as time goes on. Because why? The Web 2 has allowed access and interaction, but people still own it. We have few people in the world that controls this space. They control this space. So social media platforms, the big social media platforms that pays people, you like YouTube owned by Larry Page and Mark Zuckerberg and all of those people, you discover that Web 2 has given a chance for people to interact. Now we now look at Web 3. Web 3 gives you the opportunity to own and to write and to create a system that you and your family can interact. You own your finance, you control your finance and everything. In Web 2, you own the finance, but they can still regulate it. There are some monetary government is still trying to regulate it, and some other policies still trying to regulate it. But in Web 3, you have full access to the finance. What is this happening to us in this era? What is happening to us in this era that if you understand Web 1, you understand Web 2. In Web 2, you understand Web 3, which we are entering. We are not fully into Web 3, but we are looking at it as a futuristic thing. The Web 3 will give us ownership, but Web 2 help us to own and to also interact in that. Now, in Web 2, if you are listening to me now and you are not making mark in Web 2, then there is an issue, because Web 2 allows you not just to earn alone. Web 2 allows you to earn and to now in multiple platforms. That is why you see a lot of people without certificate today. They are making money. One thing that Web 2 opens to a lot of people is it opens to us to own a platform and to do one or two. I was listening to just a short clip by a preacher within the week, and it said something. He said, if you are broke in this era, it's your fault. It's not the fault of any other person, but you have failed to interact. Many of us still have the mindset of the old. We still carry that mindset of our fathers, because now after you are leaving school, now you just finished service. The only thing that's in your mind is you are still looking for a job in an economy like Nigeria, when illiterate people that did not go to school. I think the internet made mention of Olodo uprising, but they are making so much income. We need people like you and I who will enter the field, who knows investment, who have entered into a summit like this and understand what to do with money to start earning. But no, we leave it for the least people in the society. So you see somebody who cannot speak good English on internet, always making noise, and you that claims that you know better, but you are not earning. And you see the illiterates now employing masters. in their field. They didn't go to school, but they are bringing the masters. You see, that is what I talked about the C class. C class now employing the A class. So there must be a reawakening for you in this summit. How do I strategically deal with my finance? There must be a change. If you continue like this, what inputs are you putting into life? I discovered that I needed multiple streams of income. And if I continue with one or what I'm doing, that more responsibility keeps piling up, and the current finance that I'm having is not going to meet up with everything that I'm doing. Then I started to diversify. Diversification is very, very key and important. You must learn to diversify. See, making money it might not be your passion. Some of you are just focused on this thing. This is my skill. You want to bury yourself there. Most of the world people in the world today, they don't even love what they're doing, but they are making good money from it. Yeah. So when it comes to making money, it might not be your passion, but it will give you money because you need money every day of your life. So if it requires you to sell something to make money, even if sales is not to your thing, but you need to learn it because you need finance. What I want to introduce to us in this section, one of the things I would like to introduce to us is in the internet space, that one of the easiest way to earn currently is you see people posting another person's content, not necessarily their content. I think on this premise, I was looking at something over time. I said, okay, before 2027 and 20, I need to scale the level of my earning, and already in a civilized time and era. So that took me to study some platforms. I started studying other social media platforms and to see how do I start blogging and one or two things. And I started posting a particular preacher's content. And over time, that particular content, you need to see the level at which the page is growing. And I gave myself a target. I said, before September runs out, I need to start earning. This should be your goal. What is your financial goal? Most of us does not have a financial goal. See, your mindset is your limitation. Because still inside the summit, some people are still looking at, it's good. You're still thinking about a good job. It's good. But how long in an economy like Nigeria, where you have a lot of people? If you can understand what we are talking in this summit, then you are a job creator. You need to deploy, not to be employed. You need to deploy. There are a lot of things that you can put out there for many people and help a lot of people in the society. Many people are making money now, but they don't have structure on how to bring in people to earn from it. There is blogging. There is a lot in the social media space for you to engage in. These things will be much more easy. Many of us, you say you are shy of the camera, then why not put somebody else's content, even if you can just learn how to cut them and put in a platform. The good news is this is what I'm doing, and I'm already seeing massive results. And I want you also to take advantage of Web 2. Web 2 allows you to interact. That interact should not be for free. Listen, social media, you have burned a lot of data on social media. It's time to start earning those data back. It's time for us to go back and collect our data. That has been what I've been saying. I said I will collect every data that I've spent on social media. And how will I do it? Social media is paying people. What they are putting in, they are getting more. You are just donating for those people. When will you start earning? Using social media as a leverage. Look at the era of AI. AI is on the move. You have been part of the people telling the story, but you have refused to interact. You are still operating in Web 1, even in 2026. If you're in 2026 and your mindset is still in Web 1, you are far behind. We must operate in this current time that we have found ourselves. Yeah, my light just came on. Thank you. So this is something that we are looking at, especially in a time and in a season like this. Earning in this time must be intentional. It must be
Can you?
intentional. If you're listening to me, let me see.
Okay, you're
Let me know if
back.
you're listening to me. Can you guys hear me? Okay, I'm back. If you can hear me, let me see an emoji. Let me see an emoji. Okay,
Yes, you're back
Abimbola,
now.
sorry. Okay, how many minutes do I have left? How many minutes? I can't follow my
We'll
slide.
do,
I just have
we'll
to
do
figure this out.
5 so that if you have questions, the other 5 minutes can cover that. So you have 5 minutes
Okay,
left.
okay. Okay, I have 5 minutes left. So
Yes.
what I'm saying in essence, especially in the age and era that we are, is a time to leverage on the system. Listen, the guys making this thing out there, they are not better than you, they are not intelligent than you, but you refuse to take step. You keep procrastinating. Don't worry, I'm going to start a page. Don't start tomorrow. Start before you are ready. Start now. Listen, start before you are ready. Do you get what I'm saying? Start before you are ready. What I mean by that is you don't need to wait. Sometimes you don't have the best time. The best time is you start, then everything starts aligning. Everything starts aligning. Start today, package it later. Just start. I don't have a clear phone. That is what some people have said. Just put the camera. That one that is not clear, look for one light and put at the front, and then start from there. So there are a lot of things. I wanted to talk about the AI space, but I don't want to jump into. My partner is listening to me right now. He knows over time in the AI sector, within a short period of time, we were able to generate so much, which I don't want to talk about currently. Many of us consume movies on YouTube. That's a movie that you are watching. Do you know you can record a part of it and put on TikTok? And crowd will go and watch that short part that you do, and then you're still going to in you will start growing a page on this. I wish in the group, which you hear a lot of people talking about, I'll create a UK TikTok. Somebody told me that the reason why I've not started blogging, even on platforms, that I wanted to create a UK TikTok. I don't know how to do about it. I said there is no problem. This is one of the easiest parts. Something that people are creating in less. You refuse to take responsibility, shifting your financial blame to somebody because you are not taking this purposefully. If you are listening to me and responsibility has not down on you yet, then you need to take note of what I'm saying. You need to wake up. One of the points I made for tonight is, first of all, I made mention of something. I said the input you put into life determines the output. Right now, your life currently is the result of the inputs that you have been putting into life. And then I marched forward and explained Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3. And I said currently we are in Web 2. Web 1 is read only, Web 2 is read and write. You can read and you can write. It means that you don't just read alone, you can also interact with the platforms and different things. Now, Web3 talks about ownership. I don't want to delve deeper into the subject of Web3 because if I talk about Web3 deeply, we are going to talk about the stock market. We're going to talk about crypto. We're going to be talking about forex and all of those stuff because this is where the blockchain actually is. So Web3 has to deal with the blockchain, and I don't want to talk more about the blockchain technology. I just want to keep it simple. AI is advancing. Move forward, please. There was a time where we have the typewriter, and then the keyboard came, everybody, and we saw that advancement. There was a time where we go to phone booths to make calls. Some of us might not have that opportunity then, but some of us we made call in phone booths where you talk to people. You want to make or you go and pay 20 naira like that on phone booth. But now look at the technology. Our world is fastly evolving. Mr. Leader Morrison said something. He said most of the world's richest men today are now investing so much on AI. That is a fact. They are now into AI. Looking at you, look at Mark Zuckerberg coming up with Meta and some of other stuff. Because why? These people have learned to transition with the tides. As the wave is moving, they have learned to follow it accordingly. It's only you that is not doing anything. If your current position now, within from now to December, there is a change that you can cause in your finance if you decide to wake up today. As long as you keep believing in where you are, you keep repeating the same thing that you have been doing over time. Leader Morrison made mention of something. He said that it's only a madman that continues to repeat the same thing and expecting the same repeating, expecting something else, another kind of result. No. If you continue the input you are putting into life, you see that your finance for the next 10 years, that is where it will be. And you know one thing, if you don't grow in finance, responsibility is growing. So you must wake up. There must be something that you can do. If you find out that there's nothing I can do, sell something. Sell something. Give yourself to knowledge. Give yourself to knowledge. Don't be limited. Look at your background and stop behaving like it. Please don't behave like that. They have brainwashed you too much. They told you that if you go to school, you're going to get a good job. And even till now, you're still hoping for a good job. And for months now, good job has not come. Why not create a system that will help you to earn? How are the least in the society making money and you are still struggling? This is what we are looking at. I'm tired of this current situation, and every day I'm hungry to scale out. And that has always kept me finding out different things and trying to make out new things. I've never been satisfied with my current state. Never. Every day until I get to that height, even when I get there, if the world richest men are not tired, how much more we? So this is a great platform, and I believe that after the summit, we are really going to be breaking the metrics. Thank you, Leader Morrison. Thank you, Abimbola. Thank you, everyone, for this section. I wish I had more time, but my time was shortened, and I missed. Mr. Morrison owes me for this, and we are going to talk about this later. But I pray, and I know that I pray that somebody got something in this section. Thank you. So let me get your more question. Let me get your question. If you have a question, okay, Leader Abimbola, over to you.
Yabimbola, I think you are muted. You're muted. We can't hear you. Is this something that can be fixed, Leader Chamaka? First of all, thank you, Leader Dan. We first, I apologize for stealing into your time. I sincerely apologize. Forgive me. We'll have to make it up to you. Can we celebrate him? Please unmute Leader Bimbola. Let's see.
Can I be heard now?
Yes, we can hear you now. We can hear you.
Oh, great. All right. So I was saying, yes, thank you for that presentation. Who felt the fire towards the end? You could feel he got to a point where he was not presenting just for presenting. He was entering, this is why I do this. And really, we can't say we want to break the matrix when the money is not even there to talk about. We can't say we want to break the matrix and build a great future when the way he described it, I don't want to use the same words, when it is the Olodo uprising that you see making the money. And really, while I wait for questions to come up, see, the first thing he wrote was, money does not speak, he said, I wrote, money does not speak English. I was like, why are you dragging me? Is it because I'm blowing for air here? I know he didn't mean that. But the fact is, money does not speak English, it doesn't speak grammar, it responds to principles. And if you don't know those principles, like you mentioned, the person might be an A student, and yet you see them. The problem is not working for the C student. The problem is them just not having the commensurate value in terms of money or any form of success that you can see beyond, yes, I know I'm living a fulfilled life. You can't see that in their lives. So it can be triggering when you think of it sometimes. So while we wait for the questions, I want to ask, what was your one-liner? If there's nothing you remember that you're leaving with this session, what is the one thing you would say stuck with you, is going to stick with you, and that you will be working with? I want to see those in the comments while I read mine. He said, back then, money was largely connected to where you live, where you work, and who you know. And really, if you are a millennial, or maybe you are maybe in the older version of Gen Zs, is that the one that follows millennial? Please pardon me if I'm mixing things up. you would know that that is the fact. Before now, it is where you live. You can only basically work around where you live, or you make money from where you work. That's the main thing. Either you open a shop or you have an office or you do both, whichever way. And then who you know. But in this day and age with the internet has become a high level of leverage for us. I'm seeing comments, so let me quickly read one or two before I go on to the next question.
Okay, leader Bimbola, you leader Bimbola, you there? Unmute your mic if you're
Can you
there.
hear me now?
Yes, we can. We can.
Oh, one way or another, it seems I'm joining on two different platforms, and it's confusing to even me. All right. So while I wait for the comments, I mean for the questions, I have one question to ask, because I think one of the challenges I found sometimes is how people, not that they want to, but it's possible to take things out of context and then mean it to say what you didn't mean. Because what I wrote was, so when you hear about people who did not even complete maybe secondary school, or those who dropped out one way or another, and they are making so much money on the internet, or just generally being the employers instead of the even the B students. Now the question is, does that mean that we shouldn't bother about school? Does that mean that, well, we should not really bother about getting educated, formally educated? Or could we just wing it through life and not bother? As long as I make money, I don't really need to bother about school. Or so let's shed some light on that, so that people can understand this is the direction that you are going, and then you could just clear that up. Did you get my question?
Okay, okay, I got your question. Are
Okay.
you done? Are you done?
Yes, I'm done. I want to exit and come back in
Okay,
because the volume is so low. And I know it's from my end.
okay, okay, hold on. Okay, okay, do that first. Okay, she asked a question, and okay, sorry, let me hold on. So the person who asked the question, or should I go ahead with the answer?
Yes, please go ahead. It's being recorded, so we can. She can always
Okay,
play it.
okay, okay. She asked a question because I said there are people who didn't go to school and they're making more money than a lot of graduates. I think maybe that was the point that she was looking at this from. But what I'm saying in essence is that if the least in the society are making so much of this money, much more you who have a better understanding. The only issue with that is you who have a better understanding, you're supposed to even make double of what those people are making. The level of knowledge that these people have is not the same level of knowledge that you have seen. You are exposed in looking at school, you have learned, you know so much, but still yet, I believe the only difference between the least who are making much money and quite a number of graduates is just many graduates is just mindset. Many graduates has the mindset of I want to work, but these people have the mindset of I just need to. They just have the mindset of I want to make this money. So if you have the mindset that you want to make more, that mindset that you have, you're supposed to be better than the least in the society. They don't have that understanding that you do. If they have the understanding that you do, I bet you they would have gone further than where they are. But you, being a graduate and you have gone to school, and you are supposed to even do better than the least. So I'm not talking down on school, because school has its own role that it will play in the life. I think the reason why we're communicating at this level is one of the reasons is because of the level of school that we have attended. But when I talk about school again, I don't want to talk about school like you went to university, you are looking at that as school. See, school is broader than what you think. You can be schooled in a skill. You can be schooled in exposure. Some people have traveled to different places. You see, that is a level of education alone. Exposure is another level of education, because what they have seen and interacted with, there is a change. They have really learned so much. So school is not tied to the four walls of the university. It's broader than that. But if you can listen and understand what is happening in this summit today, I believe that you can do better than the least in the society. They don't understand management. And that is why somebody can go to the club and spend 4 million naira, 12 million naira in one night. If you who are learned have that money, do you know the opportunity you will create in the economy? You will help to reduce unemployment. This is what government needs. You and I is what government needs. You and I is what society needs currently. Because the people who were able to get these resources, they don't have the capacity to utilize this thing perfectly. And that is why they are using it. They are flaunting wealth unnecessarily, doing things that doesn't make any sense in the society. They're not helping anybody. But if that same money
Mm.
comes to our hand, there are a lot of changes that we can bring. So I'm not talking down on academics. What I'm saying is that if the least are making more money, we that are learned, we will do better. If we have that money, it will be much more better in our hand than them. So this is what I'm talking about, please. Did I answer your
Mm.
question?
Yes, thank you for making that clarification, because you know how it is easy for people to believe. Well, I hear that this person dropped out and they're making it big, so it means I shouldn't bother about education. But I mean, formal education, but that's not it. To this, add this. So he said your mindset. If your mindset is not interested in the money, you just have your paper, like we call it in Nigeria. You have your certificate and that's all you have, but then we can't see much to point to in that direction. All right, because we've had this level of conversation so far, I know that maybe while I was logged out, you were able to drop some of the takeaways you've had. If you still have others, you can drop them. If you have questions, please drop them. I know we are wrapping up. However, like I mentioned, those questions will be addressed in the WhatsApp group. That way, you get even more details to some of those questions, because we want to respect your time as much